grew up with a dad who was always teaching, and then he'd come home and he'd sort of look at student artwork, and then he'd do his own artwork at night. So I was surrounded by it. And I used to go to school with him in the summers and on weekends if he taught. So he taught me how to do a lot of stuff, and I spent a huge amount of my time in an art room. Yeah, I loved movies. I loved movies ever since I was very young. In fact, I still think, because I grew up watching black and white television, that's how old I am, that there are still movies that I see and I'm shocked that they're in color, because I always thought they were in black and white, because I only ever saw them in black and white. But I was a terrible insomniac, and I had a television in my room when I was an older teenager, and I would stay up and watch, late night movies or whatever. Of course, there were 7 channels at that time. You just, no matter who you're playing, you have to remember that you're playing a human being. No matter how awful they are, no matter how monstrous they are, they're not. People say, I played Adolf Eichmann a long time ago in this film for HBO called Conspiracy, which was about the Wannsee Conference, where the Nazis, sort of finalized the final solution. And playing Eichmann, when you read about Eichmann, there was a Mossad agent who captured him, and when he interviewed him, which he wasn't even supposed to do, he interviewed him and he said, you shipped all those Jews off, you put them on the trains, you shipped them off, he says, and there were children there, and how could you? We said, how could you do that to children? And he said, well, no, I love children. He said, but you killed all those children. He said, yeah, but they were Jewish. So in his mind, he started to cry when he talked about children. And yet, in his mind, the fact that they were Jewish, it just made sense, like there was a logic to it. So he separated his logical mind from his emotional mind. He had children. He was actually caught playing with his children in the house in Argentina when they caught him. So that kind of disconnect is really interesting, disturbing, and that's what you have to recognize. And when you recognize it, it makes the person a person, because they are a person, and that goes for the same person in the Lovely Bones.